Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about merchandise management in retail. Merchandising means promotion of sale of goods by their presentation in retail outlets to a retail consumer. The products are displayed in a creative way at the retail outlets to lure customers to purchase more products and spend more. Merchandise sale through selection, packaging, product designing, pricing, and display enable a retailer to reach its goals of profit maximization. Rather than managing a portfolio of stocks, retail buyers manage a portfolio of merchandise inventory. They buy merchandise they think will be popular with the customers. Retail buyers use an information system to monitor the performance of their merchandise portfolio to see what is selling and what is not. When the merchandise they bought is not selling well, they put it on sale so that they can use the money to buy better selling merchandise. The next term in this is the merchandise management. It is the process in which a retailer attempts to offer the appropriate quantity of the right merchandise in the right place and at the right time to meet the company's financial goals. Buyers need to anticipate what customers want to buy, but this ability to sense market trends is just one skill needed to manage merchandise inventory effectively. More important skill is the ability to analyze sales data continuously and make appropriate adjustment in prices and inventory levels. The third term is merchandising philosophy. A merchandising philosophy sets the guiding principles for all the merchandise decision that a retailer makes. This includes every product decision, from what product lines to carry to the shelf space allotted, inventory turnover, and pricing. A retail merchandising philosophy can be product-based or consumer-focused. Product-focused merchandising involves analyzing SKU, that is, stock keeping unit, sales performance and profitability metrics to find and invest in the most profitable products based on store size, volume, and sell-through for each category. Consumer-focused merchandising involves creating product assortments based on customer insights and their preferences, their social network signals, shopping patterns, and other potential big data sources. Retailers use customer segmentation data to identify the segments that are more profitable and have a higher lifetime value than others, and to invest in product assortment that reflect target market desires, marketplace positioning, supplier capabilities, competitors, cost involved, product trends, and other factors. In forming a merchandising philosophy, the scope of responsibility for merchandise personnel must be stated. Whether these personnel involved will do full merchandising functions, that is both buying and selling goods and services, which may include selection, pricing, display, and customer transactions, or will they be focusing on the buying function only and others responsible for display and personal selling. Merchandising is the foundation for the success of any retailer as buyers engage in both buying and selling tasks. Some retailers consider buyers to be skilled specialists who should not be active in selling function, which is done by only skilled specialists. Store managers at full-line discount stores have great influence on product displays but have no control on stocking and promoting particular brands. When buying and selling are separate, specialized skills are applied to each task. The morale of store personnel goes up as they get more authority. Selling is not viewed as a secondary task. Salesperson and customer interaction is better. Buying and selling personnel are distinctively supervised. Each firm must see which format is best for it. To capitalize on opportunities, more retailers now use micro-merchandising and cross-merchandising. In micro-merchandising, retailer adjust Shelf space allocation to respond to customer and other differences among local markets. For example, Walmart. Walmart allots space to product lines at various stores to reflect differences in demographics, weather, and shopping. Micro-merchandising is easier today due to data generated. Website browsing, transactions, mobile sites, catalogs, and third-party data enable the retailer to monitor, identify, and address customer trends. In cross-merchandising, a retailer carries complementary goods and services to encourage shoppers to buy more. Apparel stores stock accessories and auto dealers offer extended warranties. Pharmacy stores use cross-merchandising to increase revenues by making it easy for consumers to buy complementary items during the cold and flu season. Placing items such as cough drops, tissues, medications close together in an aisle not only help consumers easily find these items if they come in for one of them, but it also generates in-store impulse purchases. Cross-merchandising leverages customer preferences for one-stop shopping and the tendency to make impulse purchases and increase retailers' overall revenue. Now coming to merchandise formats and processes. The first one in this is the level of formality. Merchandise buying is a distinct retail task and requires the step up of a separate department. The functions involved in acquiring merchandise and making it available for sale are under the control of this department. A formal organization is most often used by large firms and involve distinct personnel. Advantages of a formal organization are clarity of responsibilities and use of full-time specialized merchandisers. But the disadvantages is cost of a separate department. In an informal buying organization, merchandising is not a distinct task. The same person handles both merchandise buying and other retail tasks. Responsibility and authority, they are not always clearly cut, and they generally occur in small retailers. Advantages of informal format are low cost and flexibility, but they are less defined responsibilities and less emphasis on merchandise planning. It is crucial for a firm to recognize the roles of merchandise and ensuring responsibility, activities, and operational relationships. The second in this is the degree of centralization. In a centralized buying organization, all purchase decisions proceed from one office. A chain may have 10 stores with merchandise decisions made at headquarters store. In a centralized buying organization, purchase decisions are made locally or regionally. A 20-store chain may let each outlet select its own merchandise or divide branches into geographic territories, with regional decisions made by the headquarters store in each territory. Advantages of centralized buying are strict controls, but are inflexible and excessive uniformity is there. Decentralized buying has adaptability to local conditions, quick order processing. Disadvantages are limited controls, little staff support, and a loss of volume discounts. Third is the personal resources. An inside buying organization is staffed by a retailer's personnel and merchandise decisions are made by permanent employees. With an outside buying organization, a firm or personnel external to the retailer are hired, usually on a fee basis. Retailers use either an inside or outside organization or combination of both. The fourth is the organizational breadth. In a journal buying organization, one or several people buy all merchandise for a firm. A journal approach is better if a retailer is small or there are few products involved. A specialized approach is better if a retailer is large or carries many products. By specializing, there is greater expertise and responsibility is well defined. However, costs are higher and extra personnel are required. The fifth one is the staffing. Firms with a merchandising viewpoint are most concerned with hiring good buyers. Firms with a buying perspective are concerned about hiring sales managers also. Many large firms hire college graduates, they train them and promote them to buyers and sales managers. A sales manager typically supervises the on-floor selling and operational activities for a specific retail department. The next topic within this is types of merchandise. Staple merchandise, also called basic merchandise, consists of items that are regularly purchased, displayed and sold by retailers, like consumer packed goods, bread, butter, milk, salt, eggs, etc. Sales of staple merchandise are steady and it is relatively easy to forecast demand. Since the demand for staple merchandise is very predictable, merchandise planning system for staple categories involve continuous refilling. The second is fashion merchandise. Fashion merchandise categories are in demand only for a relatively short period of time. New products are continually introduced into these categories. The basic product does not change, but the color and style changes, like athletic shoes, smartphones, and women apparel. Forecasting the sale for fashion merchandise categories is much more challenging than doing so for staple categories. Buyers for fashion merchandise categories much have less flexibility in correcting forecasting errors. The third is the seasonal kind of merchandise. Seasonal merchandise categories consist of items whose sales fluctuate drastically depending on the time of year, like winter jackets, swimsuits, festival decorations of Christmas ornaments, etc. The fourth in this is fad. Fad merchandise, high sales are generated for a short time. Often toys and games are fads that flew off store shelves each time a related movie was released. It is hard to forecast whether such products will reach specific sale targets and how long they will be popular. Sometimes fads continue for a long period at a fraction of earlier sales. Now let's talk about forecasting category sales. How to forecast staple merchandise? By using historical sales data. We have discussed earlier as well that the sales of staple merchandise are relatively constant from year to year. Thus, forecasts are based on extrapolating historical sales. Sophisticated statistical techniques can be used to forecast future sales for each stock keeping unit. Even though sales for staple merchandise categories are relatively predictable, controllable and uncontrollable factors can have a significant impact on sales. And hence, controllable and uncontrollable factors needs to be adjusted. Controllable factors include the opening and closing of stores, the price set for the merchandise, special promotions, the pricing and promotion of complementary categories, and placement of merchandise in the stores. Some factors beyond the retailer's control are weather, general economic conditions, new product introductions, new products, pricing, promotional activities by competitors. The next is how to forecast fashion merchandise. Forecasting sales for fashion merchandise is challenging because retailers need to place orders and commit to buying specific quantities between 3 to 6 months before the merchandise will be delivered and made available for sale. For fashion items, there is no opportunity to increase or decrease the quantity ordered before the selling season has ended. Some source of information that retailers use to develop forecasts for fashion merchandise categories are the previous sales data, market research, fashion and trend services, and vendors. Now let's talk about them in detail. The first is the previous sales data. Accurate forecast might be generated by simple projecting past sales data. Market research. Buyers for fashion merchandise categories undertake qualitative research about trends affecting the category to more formal experiments and surveys. Retailers look for information about trends by going to internet, chat rooms, and blogs. attending soccer games, concerts, and visiting hotspots around city like restaurants and nightclubs to see what people are talking about and wearing. Which movies are hits at the box office and what are the stars wearing? Books and albums that are on the top 10 list. Which magazine are consumers purchasing? Social media sites are important sources of information for retailer buyers. Buyers learn a lot from their customers' like, dislikes, and preferences by monitoring their past purchases and their interactions with social network sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, etc. Retailers also use traditional forms of marketing research such as in-depth interview and focus group. The in-depth interview is an unstructured personal interview in which the interviewer uses extensive probing to get individual respondents to talk in detail about a subject. While a focus group is a small group of respondents interviewed by a moderator using a loosely structured format. Participants are encouraged to express their views and comments on the views of others in the group. Next is hiring fashion trend services. There are many services that buyers of apparel categories can subscribe to. Forecast the latest fashions, colors and styles. Describing the color trends, anticipate for women, men and children apparel, lifestyle products and accessories. Color forecast service provides color direction for each season, plus suggested color combination for specific categories. The fourth is the vendors. Vendors have important information about new product launches and special promotions that can have a significant impact on retail sales for their products and the entire merchandise category. Vendors tend to be very knowledgeable about product trends, particularly merchandise categories, because they specialize in fewer merchandise categories than do retailers. The information from vendors about their plans and market research about merchandise categories is very useful to retailers to develop category sales forecast. The third in this is how to forecast sales for service retailers. Due to the perishable nature of services, service retailers face an even more extreme problem than fashion retailers. Their offering perishes at the end of the day. If there are empty seats in a theater or in a plane or in a concert, the revenue that might have generated from these seats is lost forever. In the same manner, more people are interested in dining at a restaurant than there are tables available. A revenue opportunity is lost. So service retailers have devised approaches for managing demand for their offerings so that it meets but does not exceed capacity. Some service retailers attempt to match supply and demand by taking reservations or making appointments. Restaurants take reservations so that customers will not have to wait for a table. In addition, reservations indicate the staffing levels needed for a shift. Another approach is to sell advance tickets for a service, for example, for a movie, live show, or a concert. The next subtopic within merchandise management is developing an assortment plan. An assortment is the selection of merchandise a retailer carries. It includes both the breadth of product categories and the variety within each category. A firm first chooses quality, either to carry top-line expensive items and sell to upper-income customers, or carry middle-of-the-line moderately priced items and cater to middle-income customers, or carry lesser quality inexpensive items and attract lower customers. Even try to draw more than one segment by offering a variety. After deciding on product quality, a retailer determines its width and depth of assortment. Width of assortment refers to the number of distinct goods and services categories a retailer carries. But depth of assortment refers to the variety in those goods and services category which a retailer is having. Amazon is an online departmental store with millions of items for sale. Creating the right merchandise assortment that is frequently refreshed, accurately tailored to local market and e-commerce customer preferences, and seasonal market demand is essential to maximize return on investment and growing top-line sales. Retailers should take several factors into account in planning their assortment, like variety, sales, profits, etc. How much space is required for each product category? It should be analyzed thoroughly. The retailer must look at the investment costs that occur with a large variety. Selling space is limited. It should be allocated to those goods and services generating the most customer traffic and sales. The inventory turnover rate should also be studied. The next one is the scrambled merchandising. Scrambled merchandising refers to retail strategy to sell products outside traditional product line or category. The goal is to increase customer traffic, cross-selling opportunities, and sales. Examples of scrambled merchandising is when a pharmacy store starts selling groceries and snacks. Clothing retailers start selling electronics. A store that specializes in hardware and home improvement material also offer children toys and games for sale. Bookstores nowadays incorporate cafeteria selling coffee and pastries. That is the best example of scrambled merchandising. Even many gas stations have fast food counters, and that is a best example for such type of merchandising. The next is the complementary goods and services. These are the products that are used together and let retailers sell both basic items and related offerings. For example, smartphone and phone cases. The purchase of smartphone immediately require a protective case. Printers and ink cartridges, computers and softwares, streaming services with smart television set, fitness trackers and health apps, gaming consoles and video games. All are these the complementary goods and services. Demand for one product can drive the demand for its complement, and retailers bundle such items to increase their sales. Nowadays, many retailers stock their own brands next to those of merchandise brands. As a part of its assortment planning, a retailer chooses the proper mix of manufacturer, private, and generic brands. A challenge made more complex with the rapid increase of large number of brands. Manufacturer or national brands are produced and controlled by manufacturers. They are usually well known and are supported by the manufacturer ads. They require limited retailer investment in marketing and represent maximum quality to consumers. For example, Levi's, Microsoft, Coke, Gillette, Apple, Nike, Revlon, Samsung, all are these the example of national brand or the manufacturer brand. Private brand, also referred to as store brands or dealer brands, contain names designated by wholesaler or retailer. They are more profitable to retailers, are better controlled by retailers, are not sold by competing retailers, are less expensive for consumers, and lead to customer loyalty to retailers. Retailers arrange for distribution and warehousing, sponsor ads, create displays, and absorb losses for unsold private brands. This is why retailer interest in private brands is growing. In the past, private brands were only discount versions of mid-tier products. Nowadays, retailers have invested in developing a wider variety of competitive private brand offerings. Private label brands target shoppers at a premium, standard, and value price points. In some categories, differentiated features of a high-priced premium private label brand make them the most expensive and innovative product. The third is the generic brands. Generic brands such as canned food items stocked by some retailers usually get secondary shelf locations, have little or no promotion support, may be of less quality, they are stocked in limited assortments and have plain packages. Retailers control generics and price them well below other brands. For prescription drugs where the quality of manufactured brands and generics is similar, generic drugs provide more than 50% of the sales to a store. The competition between manufacturers and retailers for shelf space and profits has led to a battle of brands, whereby manufacturer, private, and generic brands fight each other for more space and control. This is all from my side on retail management. Thank you so much.